Hey everybody, this is Strategywizard again, and this is my son Nathan.
Hello.
Today we're going to be doing a review of Baba Yaga, which is published by Iello, designed by Jeremie Caplanne, I'm not sure 100%. Ages 6 and up, 2 to 5 players in 15 minutes. That's probably pretty accurate. It's a pretty quick game. In fact, you could probably play it quicker, depends on the number of players, I guess. But this is obviously another game in the Tales in Game series from Iello, and does it have a number? This is number 2, actually. And we've played it quite a few times, so I think we both have a good opinion of what kind of game what we think we like about it. So let's just go ahead and go to the table. We'll show you how to play, and then we'll tell you what we think. Here's the setup for Baba Yaga for 2 players. Everyone's going to get 3 cards that you can't look at yet. And here's the deck, which you would just move the rest of the cards to the side. You're going to have this plus pattern for the Baba Yaga tiles, which this is the path that Baba Yaga will, one of the 2 paths that Baba Yaga will take whenever the game starts. And then you randomly distribute these other tiles all over the board, all over the table in this particular fashion, groups of 4. So you have this massive square. There's 2 extra tiles over there, and I'll explain what those are in a second. And you're ready to play. So what's going to happen is the oldest player, according to the instructions, is going to draw a card. And as soon as they do, the other players, in this case is only 1, are going to be moving Baba Yaga along one of the 2 paths. They'll choose a starting point before you flip over the card, but let's just say they started here. You turn over this. Your goal is to find all of these ingredients. Now, we don't ever play this way, but because we already know, I guess, pretty much what the tiles are. Originally, whenever you first play, you'll want to turn everything to the ingredient side, or whatever you want to call this. You'll turn this over so you can see what each one represents. The geese represent the white feather. The snake represents the snake poison, I guess is what that is. And each one is pretty, there's a relation to the image to what's on the back side. So they say 20 seconds to look at all those, and then you'll turn them over. We don't ever play that way at this point because we know what they all are, but you will want to do that at first at least. But after that point, you'll say, ooh, I need these ingredients. There's different difficulty levels, and normally you try to get at least 3, but if you're on expert, then you'll try to get 4 of these ingredients. So let's say I'm doing this, I go, ooh, I got to find this. Well, I am going to look, I'm going to scan over this while they're moving. They'll be moving Baba Yaga. And if it's multiple players, they take turns. Like the person to my left, they'll move it. Then the person to their left will move. And then the person to their left will move and they keep going until they get back. So they go all the way down to the end, and then they come all the way back and once they do that, the round's over. If I haven't found the ingredients I need, I don't get to cast this spell. That's what all these are. These are spells that we have to cast to be able to escape Baba Yaga. So, in my particular case, while they're doing this, I'll flip this over. Ooh, the golden apple, I need that, so I'll leave that face up. The bread, what's this? Ooh, that's the bat wing. That's not helpful. You have to flip it back over. If you don't flip it back over, incorrect ingredients back over, then you will fail even if you find everything that you need. So you'll keep going, and you'll go, oh, the bear, what's that? Oh, that's a bag. It's not this. And then you go, oh, these dogs, what's this? Oh, there's the bread, and you'll notice the bread is actually right there. It's very hard to see, but then you continue, and you go, oh, spiderweb here. I need a spiderweb. That must be it, and it is. So if I was to flip over all 3 of these before the other players had Baba Yaga go all the way back, then I would put this spell to the side. I would be able to cast this spell, which will give me some benefit. There's different ones, and in this particular case, it means the next round, where I'm the active player, I get to find 1 less ingredient to cast my spell. So that's very powerful. Next round I only need 2 if I'm playing on normal mode. But if I was playing on hard mode, I'd have to find all 4, in which case this would put me to where I only have to find 3. Either way, that's a very powerful spell. Now, the thing is, whenever they're moving Baba Yaga, not only is that like a little time limit, the faster that they move, the less time I have, but also they're getting in your way. Because as they're reaching for this, I'm like, oh gosh, they're in my way, and you can't reach. So they want to try to put Baba Yaga in a path that's going to be as disruptive as possible to the player who's looking for their ingredients. But once they're done, they'll flip everything back over, or drop them on the floor if they are so clumsy as me, and it'll be the next person's turn. They'll flip over their card, and they will proceed to do their thing. Now, eventually, someone will cast all 3 of their spells. Whoever does that first is the winner. So that's the goal, is to try to cast all your spells first. Now, There's a few other variations, one of which is, well, the hard mode I already explained. The easy mode, which is for, I guess, really young players, easy mode is that you only have to, not only do you only have to do 3, but you put the card back on top of your stack. Normally, in normal mode, you put it on the bottom, so you don't know what's coming up next. In easy mode, you'll know, oh yeah, you'll remember, you'll know exactly what it was that you just did, so you'll be ready to try to find the same stuff. So that's so the cool part is they have variations, so different difficulty levels for different experiences and ages. But also you can play with this mode where this is actually something that will pop up in the spells, and I'll show a few other ones. In this particular case, if you cast this spell, you can actually add this extra Baba Yaga disc to the path on your turn. That way it takes longer for your opponents to get Baba Yaga back, which gives you more time to find your ingredients. This one actually makes where on someone else's turn they have one less. So let's say the other person's playing, I can take this away, so it takes me less time to get Baba Yaga back, so they don't have much time to get their ingredients. There are, let's see, this one lets you place Baba Yaga, the house, somewhere on one of these tiles. So you might say, ooh, I'll put it right here. What that means is now that not only can they not see what that is, so if they don't remember, they'll have to pick it up to look. If they ever want to look at this to find one of their ingredients, they have to pick this up and put it in front of them. Then they can look. And if it's wrong, they have to put it back and then put the house back on top. So it can really disrupt your exploration to find all your ingredients. Then there's this one, which makes it to where you have to actually block one of your eyes with the palm of your hand and look through, just like this shows, look through this with your other eye. That way it makes it harder for you to focus. This lets you switch any 2 tiles whenever so that way it can kind of disrupt other people, because they might have remembered, oh, this was right here, but if you switch these 2, they have to pay more attention. And there's a couple other spells, let's see, or maybe there's just one more. Oh yeah, this one, you actually have to put your chin on your fist on the table while you're trying to find the spells. Now here's the thing, the ingredients. Normally, you only can use one hand anyway to flip over according to the rules, but this really puts you in an uncomfortable position that makes it even harder. And I think that may be the last spell that's different, yeah. So the other thing is, if you want to play with this variant, you can take the Baba Yaga house, and at the end of every person's turn, which means that the first player will get an advantage unless you decide to do that. But the rules seem to make it seem like it's at the end of the first player's turn. They can block somebody. They can always play this, and then the next person's turn, they can block the next person. So you're always disrupting each other. But this spell of the Baba Yaga house is still useful, because you can, on your turn, you can choose where it goes, which means that if let's say someone went, oh, I'm going to block this, you can cast that spell and say one time, you only get, it's a one-time use, you can say, I'll move it over here. That way you know exactly where it is, and somewhere that's easy for you to reach if it's something that you, or if you've already been through some of your cards and you kind of remember what's coming up, you can purposely put it somewhere that you don't think you need one of those, that particular ingredient. So that pretty much is how it goes, and let's go ahead and go back up and we'll tell you what we think. Okay, so you see what kind of game this is. It's very unique, very different, and very interactive for everybody at the table, which is pretty unique. And I like your pencil, Professor Nathan.
Yeah, no, again. And it's also a very simple game, if you already said that then, but it's just, I mean, basic rules. All you have to do is just put your head right here, move it, and then you find the tiles. I mean, pretty simple game. Yeah,
the rules are very simple for anybody, and yet everybody is engaged, which is a good thing. Right. Now, what do you think about the components? Do you like the pieces and the way they look and work?
I do, except really I actually do like Baba Yaga, just not this thing right here.
Oh yeah, he can't stand the way this piece looks, but and don't get me wrong, it doesn't exactly look beautiful, but it's pretty thematic, because it has that kind of that Russian look to it, which is what Baba Yaga is. It's a Russian folklore, so it fits, and the component quality is nice. The tiles are wonderful, the artwork is great. Right. The cards don't have a linen finish, but they're still good.
I also like the apples a lot, the golden one.
Yeah, the golden apple. And the insert is wonderful, as always in these games. The Tales in Game series, you have an insert that fits everything nicely, and it shows you a basic setup of the game, so that's great. And it looks like a book, so that's really nice. All that's great.
And what's cool is there's a book
Yeah. There's also a book that there's a story of the game, which is nice. That way, for your kids, if you buy it for your kids, you get a story to read to them, and you have a game to play. So that's nice. Also, replayability, Nathan. What do you think about replayability? Do you think you can play it again and it feels fresh and exciting each time?
It does.
Okay, and why do you think that is?
It's just, well, maybe not. It's mainly because it's not just replayable, because once I first play it, I don't want to play it again.
So you feel like you want to play it once and then you're done for a while. Okay, in my opinion, there's a decent amount of replayability and here's the thing. The fact that everyone's interacting and you're trying to mess each other up by putting Baba Yaga in the path that's the most annoying, and you're trying to flip them over, and it's quick. To me, it's replayable. Long term, I think it is replayable, because in a few days, I'd be interested in playing again. And I can see myself playing 2 to 3 times in one sitting, if Nathan wanted to, just because it is quick and there's interaction the whole time. But I can see where Nathan's coming from too. I mean, once you've played it once, I can see maybe I don't know, everyone has different opinions, but I think that it has pretty good replayability. But what about the strategic level? Do you think there's actually some choices to be made that are interesting?
They're not really. I mean,
you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of choices. The choices involve where do you put Baba Yaga? Because on the path that'll be the most disruptive. Apart from that, it's just memory. It's not strategy. It's just memory. It's like where was that I needed? Where was each ingredient? So yeah, there's not a lot of strategy, not a lot of planning, but you still have. But it is still thinking. You're still thinking though, right?
Right.
Because you're having to focus.
Right.
But do you feel like you have to focus a lot and try to remember and really think, or do you think that part's easy?
I mean, I think it's easy, because all I have to do is look again, maybe. But I'm not the frog leg, and then the feather, and then the ham, and I can do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the one thing about the replayability I will say. The more you play it, the more you remember where everything is, unless you choose to reset it up and mix everything up. You get so used to where things are that as soon as the card comes up, you know where to go to find the ingredient you need, which is why, if you're going to play it several times in a row, you should start shuffling up the tiles so you don't remember exactly where everything is.
Right, I don't really like that, actually.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work to have to do that. That's why you unless you're willing to do it.
It's just easier if you just put it in the same place.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand. Well, what do you think? What's your score?
I think I'd rate it as 7 out of 10. Usually willing to play it.
You're usually willing to play,
right.
And I think I would agree. This is a usually willing to play for a kids game, because it is interactive enough to where, for the most part, if Nathan says, "Hey, let's play Baba Yaga," I think, you know what, that does sound pretty fun, because there's something about the interactiveness of it and the speed and the fact that it is unique. There's not a lot of games like this. It's something that is appealing. I'm happy to come back to it and play it again. So
that's why it's pretty different.
Yeah, we don't have any other game that's even close to like this.
Not really.
So overall, Nathan, tell me, what is it that makes you like this game?
I mean, mainly just because I like the way where you have to look at that, and then you're like the frog. It is funny. It is nice funny, sorry. It's just fun to look at the cards, and it's just nice to look at them and find them, and then you're like,
you like that memory, trying to figure out where is it, and see, there is something exciting about it, because some of the pictures are similar enough, because the wolves and the dogs are pretty similar. They're both technically dogs. There's 2 of them on the tile, so trying to really pay attention and go, wait, which one was it? All that's pretty exciting. And like both of these have the tree. There's a red ribbon on this one and black ravens on here, but there's similarities in each tile, so you really do have to pay attention and focus. The frog and the toad potion and the frog leg, they look very similar. So that's a cool thing that makes it to where you're always really having to focus, and it does keep it fun whenever you do play. So that's that. We both give it a 7 out of 10. We both think that it's a game that we're usually willing to play, and we're glad we have it in our collection, right?
Right.
Okay. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions and or anything you want to add. And if you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.